All right, welcome back to another on-base baseball video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On Base, as well as other games, including this game. I've been working on a reboot of the quick play baseball game, which was sort of a basic little game that kind of came out of another game that was called Tabletop Baseball Manager. I have had lots of requests over the last, whatever it's been, year and a half, since I created Quick Play Baseball to do a little bit more with it. I think a lot of people really appreciate the mechanic of the Quick Play game, which allows you to play a 9-inning game using these situation cards like this. So basically you put down a situation card and then that's the inning that you have. So that's the half inning. So for instance, you would start this half inning. There would be 2 outs and a runner on second base. And then that would take 4 batters. So if the batter who batted last was J.P. Crawford, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be Cal Raleigh standing in, and he would have 2 outs with a runner at second base. You flip a card from the deck, and if it's a 4 through 9 for a regular player, a 4 through 9 is an out, and then that would just be it for the half inning. There would be no runs scored. If it's a 10, then that triggers a hit, and then you have a separate pile with face cards, and then you draw a face card, and that determines what kind of hit. So an ace is a home run, king is a triple, queen is a double, and a jack is a single. So it's no guarantee even if you get a hit. With 2 outs, any hit is going to score that runner from second. But if you had a runner on first and you hit a double with 1 out, then that would essentially just push the runner 2 bases. So no extra base. So you would hit a double with a man on base, but you wouldn't necessarily score a run. So it's about scoring runs, and if you hit a triple with nobody on base, that's not a run scoring play. If you hit a triple with 2 people on base, that's a 2-run triple. So then you just sort of play out each half inning like that, pulling a situation card, and the situation cards are based on real situations in Major League Baseball. So you have these situations, and then there's a little bit of pitcher adjustment that you can make as well. And star hitters with a what I'm calling a WOBA of 370 or greater. These are actual stars in Major League Baseball. Then those players would trigger a hit on a 9 or a 10, which changes the percentages from about 250 to 280 or 90. So then they get an extra opportunity for a hit, and there's two 9s in the deck, there's 2 10s in the deck. So that creates a better opportunity. It actually probably push them up around 305, 310, something like that would be their opportunity to get a hit. And if they have a power number, which is a +1, then that means they've hit 30 or more home runs in the season. And with the power number, when you get a hit, if you pull a jack is normally a single, but a power number of +1 would be a queen. So that goes from a jack to a queen, which goes from a single to a double. So their power number can sort of push them up into bigger hits. So super simple game. Nothing very difficult about it. You just need the situation cards and a deck of cards, and you split the deck into home and visitor team based on the quality of the pitcher, which can be an A, B, or C. Then that pitcher, you add or remove cards from the deck. So when you remove cards from the deck, it means there's more hits, a greater hit percentage. So normally it's about 225 or so, 222, I think, or something. If you play with all of them like an A pitcher, but then you would remove the 4s for a B pitcher, and then you would remove the 5s, the 4s and the 5s for a C pitcher. So then you only have 6 through 9, which are your outs, and then you have still the 2 10s for a hit. So it really does push the averages up against a C level pitcher, which, you know, for older seasons there aren't that many C level pitchers, but for modern seasons there are quite a few. So that's quick play baseball. So I am rebooting that. You can see here before the situation cards, they look just like this, but you can see I've added in some kind of how did we get there plays, so that even if you're playing with the situation cards, you can play out a full game. But before it was like you would just skip guys and then they would get an at bat. So there's no real way to, you could determine, okay, this guy did a home run or this guy did a triple and this many RBIs, but you couldn't really say, oh, well, this guy went 1 for 4 in the game. And so now we have these plays sort of in between. So there's, you go 5 batters down because 5 batters have happened, but you got the 2 guys on base and you got 2 outs. So how did we get there? It was a walk, a single to left, a fly out to left, and then a strikeout. And then now you have that 5th batter who's up in this situation. So that's sort of the medium play, where you can flip the situation card and then play out the rest of the game. Or you can play it traditionally where you just sort of ignore those things and you just flip a card and go on to the next half inning. But some guys wanted to be able to play out the rest of the inning. Okay, so we needed a play-by-play solution. So I've come up with this chart here, and this is the play-by-play chart. You can see it fits on, you know, something roughly the size of a playing card. And the play-by-play chart has 2 through the ace. So we're going to play with the full deck. And you could use the situation cards with this too, where you just flip the situation card and then you completely play out the rest of the inning. So if the card that you flipped, let's say you flip this card here, which is nobody out and nobody on base, is a clean inning, you would need to play out the entire inning. So whatever the situation is that you get put into, you have a way to figure out what happened before the play, and then you could play out literally the rest of the inning. So that's sort of the medium play game. And then the full play game is you just start and play this game like you would normally play any cards and dice baseball game. You start from scratch each inning, and we have our chart here, which sort of progresses from pitcher, good for the pitcher if you pull a low number, to good for a hitter if you pull a high number. We have lots of different opportunities here because we have each suit and then each card. So it's 13 opportunities times 4, which is 52, right? So we have 52 opportunities now instead of just the 13. And so it gives us a lot of variety, and there's some different things on here as well, like an asterisk on an F9 would be a deep fly ball, so anybody on third is going to score automatically. We have walks. We have a single or a double with an asterisk, means that all the base runners get 1 extra base. So it's like a long single or a double where, you know, someone could score from first base with less than 2 outs. There are a couple of home run opportunities and then several walk opportunities. There's 1 error and 1 hit by pitch. So the way I figured this was off of 2022 statistics. So just going through, you know, and actually looking at the K percentage out of 52, how many spaces would I need to take up, that kind of thing. So each of these literally represents a 1 out of 52 chance. So there's no weighted anything here. You're just pulling them, so it's about a 2% chance, maybe a little bit less than 2% for each of these opportunities. So kind of makes it easier to figure things out when it's, you know, 1 out of 2. So, so we have all these different plays, and then we have our players here. This is going to be a game between played in September 17, 2022, between the Mariners and the Angels. So Ohtani is going to be going against George Kirby. It's a good pitching matchup. Both pitchers have a -2, and you see some ratings here. We got zeros across the board. We have some +2s, +1s. The way I'm figuring these ratings, and each player has to be rated for the full play game. So on the quick play game, you have some players with stars or a +1. Oftentimes it's the same player, but sometimes it's different. Sometimes you have a guy who's a power guy that doesn't have a high WOBA. So the way I figure this out is a +2 is a WOBA of 370 or greater, which is going to put you in that sort of upper echelon of players in the league. Obviously, we have Ohtani and Trout with a +2. You can look up WOBA and you can just see what it's about, but it's a sort of a modern sabermetric stat that it's some combination of looking at a player's ability to hit the ball, and hit the ball with power, hit the ball with for average. It's sort of an all-encompassing stat that it similar to the way we used to look at batting average, right? We would say, oh, he's a 313 hitter, he must be at the top of the league. So when you see a guy who's a 370 WOBA hitter, you're basically looking at your top 15 or 20 players in the majors. So sometimes more than that, sometimes less, but you're looking at your upper echelon MVP type players. A +1 is going to be an all-star sort of caliber player, so 350 to 370 is a +1, and then anything from 350 to 200 is going to be sort of your meaty middle of average players. So they all get a 0. So all these guys here are somewhere between 200 and 350, and then below 200 I give them actually a -1. So that's going to be oftentimes your pitchers. They have a WOBA less than 200, but maybe your better hitting pitchers don't have a negative adjustment. And the way that this works is, let's say for JP Crawford, there's no adjustment here, but for Mike Trout, if Mike Trout were to draw a 3 of hearts, a 3 of clubs, then because he has a +2, we're going to move him this way toward the hitting side. We're going to move him this way too. So instead of a strikeout, he would line out right back to the pitcher. So a lot of times on these lower numbers, it's a matter of, did he strike out? Did he move up to some other place? But you can see here that instead of a fly out to 9, he could actually draw a walk, or instead of a grounder 4-3, that could be an error where he gets on base. Or instead of a single, he hits a double. So for a high WOBA player, there's actually an opportunity for them to sort of move up and have a better play, a better offensive play. That's why you have the better offensive plays on one end, better defensive plays on the other. So for a pitcher who is a -2, if he were to draw a 5 of hearts instead of a grounder to the catcher, which is a G2-3, you subtract 2, so now it's a strikeout looking. So your better pitchers tend to be higher strikeout pitchers, which is the concept here. So you're sort of moving them down the list, but you could go from a walk to a hit by pitch, or from a grounder 6-3 to an F7. So you can sort of move people up and down, or it could go from a walk to a ground out to the shortstop. So there's an opportunity here where instead of something hurting you, it can help you if you're a better pitcher. So we have a -2 for pitchers who are a FIP of 0 to 3.5, and then a -1 for pitchers who are 3.5 to 4.0, and then anybody with the FIP of 4.0 or more gets a 0. So whatever you draw is just going to be for him. Now, it's laid out that pitchers, when it's a red card, you're going to use the pitcher adjustment. And when it's a black card, you're going to use the batter adjustment. So you don't have to add, so it's not like -2 +2 is a 0 and they cancel each other out. Excuse me, I looked at doing that at the beginning, but it's too much like figuring things out and doing stuff like that. So it was easier to just kind of split the chart in two. And what this does is also allows for some rare and unusual plays. So you're going to run into the situation where you draw a 2 of hearts and you have a -2 pitcher. And so it's going to go off the chart that way. 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So it's going to go off the chart. And rather than just sort of say, well, it's a 2 of hearts, that's all it is, you can't go off the chart. Going off the chart is a rare play. It triggers a rare play. So if you have a batter with an ace of spades and he's a +2 like Ohtani, instead of a home run, it goes off the chart. Now, this little fold out will come with the game too, which is kind of a cool little, just a little folding booklet. And so we have our rare and unusual plays. You can see the red for the pitchers and the black for the batters. And so these are actually different. They're not the same. So these are sort of good plays for the pitcher, and these would be sort of good plays for the batter. And what they do is they bring in some elements that I didn't add into the chart. So like for a hitter, they're, a two base error, wild pitches, balks, pass balls. There's a blown call, and the batter is safe at first. Hit by pitch, which is on the chart, but there's another hit by pitch here. There's a wild pitch for strike 3, and then the batter is safe at first. And then here we have some extra opportunities for strikeouts. So a check swing, and then it's a strikeout on the appeal. The umpire calls a close one. There's a wild pitch on strike 3 where the batter is out at first. So for the pitcher, he's out. For the batter, he's safe. There's a foul tip strikeout and a line drive with a double play. If it's possible to double someone up, then you double them up. Outfielder's going to rob a home run. So that's an opportunity for a home run that gets robbed. There's a batter injury at first, so that would then force you to remove a batter. First baseman makes a diving catch. Different people make great catches, or you can go, that's like a 1-6-3 put out, so off the pitcher's glove to the shortstop and then over to first. So just some interesting and more unusual than rare necessarily plays, because you're probably going to hit these, maybe depending on how good the players are and what cards you draw, you might hit these 3 to 5 times a game. So you want to make sure, that they're not completely unusual plays, and you don't want to have to deal with a rain out twice, in a game, that kind of thing. So some of these are just unusual plays. Most of them are just unusual plays. So we have those in our little booklet. And the last part is that we actually have a little chart here. And you can see it. This is our strategy plays chart. So we have a sacrifice bunt, squeeze bunt, steal, and a bunt for hit. And then green means success. Red means not successful. So on a sacrifice, if you draw a 6 through an ace, then that's successful. For a squeeze, it's a 7 through an ace. It's successful. And I went back and I tried to find as many statistics as I could to support these. And so, it's obviously going to change over time and with different eras, but it's kind of an overall average of those different plays. So you'll be able to employ these whenever you want to. These are just sort of manager strategy plays. And you'll have it all in this handy dandy little booklet that you'll be able to fold, and you can see, you could even put it into the box with your cards, and this could be just your deck. Just a standard deck, nothing unusual about it. I did remove the 2 jokers. You could play with the jokers if you wanted to. That is a part of the quick play game. So in the quick play game, the jokers trigger rare plays, and those rare plays are actually found inside the game guide. So very similar to the rare plays here, but not exactly the same, because it's only 4 through 10. 4 through 10. Because when you're playing the quick play game, you don't have a whole deck. You have the 4 through 10 in for the home team, 4 through 10 for the away team. So that's how you split the deck. But you only need one deck of cards for any of these games that I'm talking about. So basically, you're going to get 3 games in one, or just like playing my basketball game, up tempo basketball, you can sort of change it throughout the game. It might be a little bit more difficult because you'll just need to either have 2 decks and all set out like they were supposed to be, or you're going to have to combine the deck and really shuffle well. Because once you separate those face cards, if you don't shuffle them really well, they get all in there in clumps, and you're going to run into hit after hit after hit. So the better you shuffle, the more realistic the game is going to feel, the more you shuffle those face cards in there. All right, so that's enough of the introduction, but that's what I've been working on. I actually am able to rate every single season in the history of baseball. I almost did the entirety of baseball yesterday in just a couple of hours, because I'm just going through basically a roster sheet and just doing a data dump. And I'm going to separate it by different eras in baseball. So there's the dead ball era, the live ball era. There is the, I think they call it the integration era. So sort of the period of integration, the 40s up to like 1960. And then there is the, whatever the period of the 60s is. It's like the 60s through the mid 70s. And then after that is the free agency era, so late 70s through the early 90s. Then there's the steroid era, 94 to 2006 or so. And then there's sort of the post-steroid era. So those are the eras that I'm going to break them down in, and you'll be able to purchase literally an entire era of baseball. So if you want to play just dead ball, like 01 to 19, 1901 to 1919, then you'll be able to do that. So you can have all of the dead ball seasons, all the players rated. I am cutting it off at 30 at bats for batters. That cuts out, several thousand players in each of the eras. But it does give you the players who have played. You're not getting the guys who pitched a third of an inning or whatever. And so I'm cutting it off there. Actually, I think you do get all the pitchers, but you don't get all the hitters necessarily. So, but the cool part is it's super easy to rate these players. I told you the ratings. So it's really easy to rate the players. And so if you have guys who are kind of straggler and you don't want to rate them, or you want to put them in the game and maybe they only got a few at bats, or 10 at bats or something like that, but you want them to be part of your replay, it's pretty easy. For the most part, they're going to be a 0 batter. For the most part, they're going to be a C pitcher. They're not going to be, your better players, because those players are playing. So I don't feel like I cut anybody out that's like, oh gosh, Babe Ruth didn't make it. It's not like that. So it's super interesting just to go through the list and see what their statistics are. And the very, very cool part is if you purchase, let's say the integration era or the live ball era, you're going to get the Negro Leagues. And so I just saw that Fangraphs.com has this year, just this season, begun to include the Negro Leagues in with all of their statistics. So if you look at a swath of players from 1920 to 1940, all of the Negro Leagues are included. Because I was looking through and I was like, ABC, what team is ABC from the 1920s? And I looked it up, and sure enough, it's the Indianapolis ABCs. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I dug a little bit farther and saw that there was a post in February that Fangraphs has now worked with Seam Heads to include their database of Negro League players. So the Negro Leagues are fully in with everybody. So if you're looking for Negro League players, or you want to play full as played Negro League seasons as much as possible, you're going to be able to do it with this game, and with the full play, you'll be able to actually play out full games. So think about this game as just like every other game. Just instead of using dice, we're just using card probabilities. So, it's the same thing. You're just using a deck of cards as opposed to rolling dice. You're using the same sort of triggers and everything. So being able to play the Negro Leagues would be a huge part. And you're going to get guys like Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig, obviously those great Yankee teams in the 20s. And all the pitching through those times. The integration era is going to be guys like Jackie Robinson and Ted Williams, and you're just going to get a slew of players. Campaneris. I mean, there's just a ton of players, all those great Dodger teams from the 50s, and then into the next era, which I can't remember what it's called. It's the 60s and 70s, but you're going to get the great player Koufax and Gibson and some of those great pitchers through that era all the way through the early 70s. And then the next era would be this like 77 to 93. So late 70s into the 80s, which I know a lot of guys are into, a lot of gamers are into. And then after the lockout in 94 all the way through to like the early 2000s, which would be my era when I was growing up, and mostly where I paid attention as a teenager, college student, and then we have sort of the post-steroid era, which is just modern baseball, up until now. So, gonna have all of those seasons or those eras will be available, and you'll be able to just purchase one block of decades, or multiple seasons of baseball, probably 20 seasons or so at a time. Think of it generationally. Okay, so that's enough of an introduction, but hopefully that gets you excited about it. Pretty exciting to me. I'll be able to finish that up hopefully today. And all the seasons in Major League Baseball from 1901 to today will be rated for this game. So with stars, plus ones, which is the power number, and then the actual ratings for this full play game. So all of baseball literally will be at your fingertips. And what I'm showing you here, this is the footprint of the game. So you can see here, it's not exactly heavy on the footprint. In fact, very easily you could play this game in an airport or on an airplane without disturbing anybody, without needing to bring anything special along. Literally, this is all it would be, and it would fit onto your tray in the back that you bring down your food tray. So, super portable game. The entirety of baseball, maybe not every single play, but all of the major plays of baseball are going to be available here. I think if you can kind of get yourself past the fact that you're not rolling dice, you're flipping a deck of cards, I think it will look and feel a lot like baseball. But let's test it out. This is the first time I put it on camera. I've been testing out the game, and others have been testing it out with me, and have come to some good, realistic results. It's going to be super easy to homebrew this, so if you see things that are missing or things that could be added or added complexity, go at it, man. Just feel free to go at it. This game is pretty wide open like most of my games, so let's go ahead and get this one kicked off. For the Mariners, it'll be J.P. Crawford leading off, Ty France hitting second, Carlos Santana. Jesse Winker is the cleanup man. Cal Raleigh, the catcher, will be hitting fifth. Adam Frazier is at second. Sam Haggerty in right, Taylor Trammell in center, and Abraham Toro is playing third. George Kirby is going to be on the mound. He's a -2 pitcher, so he's the best available. He's the best kind of pitcher, right? He would be an A rated pitcher in the quick play game, and in the full play game, he is a -2 rating. I think his FIP was less than 3. So we have two good pitchers going at it in this one. For the Angels, it's Rengifo is the shortstop. Trout hitting second. He's a +2. Ohtani is a +2, DHing. Taylor Ward is in right field. He is a +1, so between 350 and 370 WOBA. Mike Ford is at first. Matt Duffy at third. Mickey Moniak is in left. The catcher is Max Stassi. And Michael Stefanik is at second base. He is hitting in the 9th position. Ohtani DHing and pitching in this game. So we'll see what sort of effect he has in the game. We are all shuffled up. What I do is I typically shuffle each half inning just to give each team equal ground, right? To pull on these numbers. You could shuffle for every batter if you wanted to do a light shuffle, just so that every single batter is on sort of the same percentage. If you want to, I think once an inning feels right to me. You could do once every other inning or once every 3 innings, whatever you feel comfortable with, or whatever feels like the right game. Every time you pull a card, it changes the percentage. So just know that that's going to be the reality. If you go 3 innings, now you're talking about this entire deck for 3 innings of baseball. Okay, so you're thinking about the percentages over the course of 3 innings. I prefer to have the percentages happen for every inning. So you can do it however you want, however it feels good to you. It could be like every inning and a half feels good to you. Just try it out and see what feels right. But if you shuffle every player, I believe your offense will go down. If you use one deck for the entire game, the offense is going to stay pretty high, I'm pretty sure. So let's get into this. The normal batter, a 0, is based off of about a 250 batting average. So just if everything was zeros and you made no adjustments up and down for pitchers or batters, they would hit at about a 250 clip. So just to kind of, that's the baseline. And then the adjustments obviously give some batters better opportunities for hits and for walks and things like that, for getting on base. And then the adjustments for the pitcher give them a better opportunity to sort of get out of a hit or a walk. So let's see how this one plays out. We're all ready to go. We got J.P. Crawford, Ty France, and Carlos Santana. And basically you just flip a card. That's going to be a jack, and that's a single. So base hit for J.P. Crawford to lead off the game. Next up is Ty France. 4 of spades is going to be a grounder, 3-1. So it's a ground ball to first base. And on ground balls, when there's a chance for a double play, so we have a runner at first with less than 2 outs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip a card again. If it is a face card, that's an automatic double play. If it's a number card, then that's going to be a fielder's choice. So the lead runner is out. So let's see. So that's a 5. So that's going to be a 3. We'll say 3-6 on the fielder's choice, which erases the player at first. So easy on double plays, not difficult. We have a 10 of spades. 10 of spades is going to be a walk. So runners now at first and second base. And Jesse Winker to the plate. Winker with so it's a queen, and -2 goes from a single to a 6-3. So you can see how a better pitcher, instead of giving up a run potentially, is going, this is a potential for a double play. So if we flip and get another face card, it's going to be an ending double play. It is. And so we go 6-4-3. So that's going to be here. So 6-4-3 on the double play gets Ohtani out of it, and we head to the bottom of the first inning. So we'll give it a light shuffle. Not anything super heavy here, just a couple of shuffles, just to make sure that we incorporate everything, bring things from the bottom to the top. You can employ whatever shuffles you want. Just a couple of shuffles, real light. Rengifo, Trout, and Ohtani. We have a -2 here, so instead of a king, it's a jack. So that's going to go, instead of a double, it goes for a walk. Trout at the plate. 4 -2 is a 2. That's going to be a strikeout. Looking, and that's out number 1. Ohtani to the plate. That's a 7 with the adjustment. So that's going to be a fly out to center, and that's going to be 2 outs. And Taylor Ward, instead of an 8, it's a 9 of clubs, which is going to be a fly out to 9, a deep fly ball. But with a runner on first base, there's no sort of effect there, and that's going to be your first inning. So 0-0 after the first, and it'll be Cal Raleigh leading off for the M's. So you can see the game moves pretty quickly. It's one flip of a card is going to resolve probably 90% of the plays. So got a 6 of clubs for Cal Raleigh. That's going to be a foul out to first base. That's 1 down. Brings up Adam Frazier. The -2 adjustment means that's going to be a strikeout swinging. As Frazier goes down on the splitter. Now we have an ace for Sam Haggerty. An ace of clubs is going to be a double. So Haggerty with the rip. Brings up Taylor Trammell. No adjustment there. That's going to be a foul out to the catcher. And that's going to end the inning as they strand the runner at second base. So the Mariners get another hit off of Ohtani, but they can't advance the runner. And we're going to head to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Ford, Duffy, and Moniak. Against George Kirby. Alright, we got a 6 of diamonds, becomes a 4, so that's going to be a grounder right back to the pitcher. 1-3 on the putout. Brings up Matt Duffy, the third baseman. Instead of a 6-3, it's going to be a fly out to 7. So a little can of corn to left field. Brings up Mickey Moniak. Moniak with the walk. Second walk of the day issued by the pitcher Kirby. Okay, now we have our opportunity for our first rare play. So let's see how this goes. This is Max Stassi. So instead of a 2 of diamonds, it goes literally off the chart. So we have our rare and unusual plays for the pitcher because it's red. So whatever we pull here is going to be, what do we get? So a 5 is an outfielder. So it's Stassi with the drive. Let's say to left field, and the left fielder is Jesse Winker. He gets there and jumps up and he robs Stassi of a 2-run home run, and that's a huge play in the game. And we go to the top of the third inning, still no score, as that rob of the home run was the 3rd out of the inning. So a big game-changing play. Ohtani gives him a tip of the hat, and the crowd goes nuts. So that's how easy it is to get the rare plays, unusual plays in there. We head to the top of the third inning. It is Toro, and then back to the top of the order. So a 5 is going to be a line out to second base. And that'll be out number 1. We have an ace of diamonds, so potential for a home run, but because of the -2 of Ohtani, That's going to knock that down to a single. So Crawford now 2 for 2. He's got 2 singles. Let's go ahead and try to steal second base. Maybe he can get into position. You see that? Yeah, okay. So for a stolen base, he needs to pull a 6 or higher. He does, and he's going to be in there with the steal. So a runner at second base with 1 out. Ty France to the plate. Double scores a run. Not going to get a chance here. This is going to be another rare play for the pitcher. And a king. Close pitch. The ump calls strike 3. So it's going to be a called strike 3. And that'll be 2 down. Runner at second base. Base hit scores a run here. And it's going to be a foul out to the first baseman. As Santana pops up in foul ground, the first baseman, is Mike Ford, and he is going to squeeze that for out number 3. And we're going to head to the bottom of the third. Another opportunity squandered by the Mariners. They just can't seem to get the big hit whenever they need it. They don't have anybody who's going to move the needle. So Rodriguez is not playing. He would normally be a +2. So we head to the bottom of the third inning. It's going to be Stefanik, and then back to the top of the order for the Angels. A 3 is going to be a strikeout. So Stefanik goes down swinging. And 8 of clubs is a grounder to the second baseman. Second baseman is Frazier. He gets it over to the first baseman, France, and that is out number 2. Brings up Trouter. Trouter struck out looking in his last at bat. This time he is going to he's going to ground out to the third baseman. A 1-2-3 inning for George Kirby, and we are moving along in this one. We go to the top of the fourth. It's still no score between Seattle and Los Angeles. I expect a bit of a pitcher's duel here. You have to kind of feel your way on the pitchers. I don't have any sort of stamina or anything like that for them. But you can look that up and do it yourself. The formula I like to use is total batters faced divided by games or games started, whatever you want to use. You could do games started for a starter. And that should give you an average number of batters per start or per game that the pitcher was in. So typically your starters are going to go 5 to 7 innings in modern baseball, and relievers are going to go 1 inning apiece typically. So we are going to head to the top of the fourth inning. It's going to be heart of the order: Jesse Winker, Cal Raleigh, and Adam Frazier. 5 of spades is a fly ball to right field. That's a little can of corn out there. No problem for the right fielder Ward. 3, and we got another rare play on the diamond. And so this goes to Cal Raleigh. A 10, right fielder crashes into the wall, so Raleigh gives it a ride. But ultimately, the right fielder is Ward, who crashes into the wall and makes a nice catch at the warning track for out number 2. He says he's okay. A 10 turns into an 8, which is a fly ball to left. So 3 fly balls, and that's 1, 2, 3 for the Mariners in the top of the fourth inning. Some nice plays out there by Taylor Ward in right. We head to the bottom of the fourth, and it's going to be Ohtani, Ward, and Mike Ford. Not a great shuffle there, but it'll be okay. That was the bottom of the deck. So we have Shohei Ohtani. He's a +2. Ward is a +1. So let's see if they get an opportunity to do that. They do. Ohtani, Jack, +2 is going to be a single. So instead of a walk, it's a base hit, which will raise his average. He's 1 for 2. If there was a runner on base, there's an asterisk. So if there's, yeah. there's an asterisk there. So if there was a runner on base, the runner would have been able to take an extra base, so like first to third or second to home. We got a king, so Ward's +1 is negated by Kirby's -2. Not negated, but it's negated because it's a red. So it's going to be a walk instead of a single. So not every instance is that an advantage, but in some instances it is going to be an advantage. A 4 of hearts goes to a 2, so it's going to be a strikeout of Mike Ford, and that'll be out number 1. Runners are at first and second base. Let's see if the Angels can come through. This is Matt Duffy. A fly ball to left field, deep left field. Not going to move any of the runners. And we got first and second. Not a hit by pitch, but a fly ball to center. And that's going to kill the rally as Los Angeles gets 2 on and can't bring them home. Nice pitcher's duel here between Ohtani and George Kirby. Couple of top level pitchers. I think Ohtani's FIP is like 2.65, something like that. It's something ridiculous. Between the two of these guys, their FIPs are incredibly low. It's 2 of the best pitchers in the American League last year. And we head to the top of the 5th inning. It's Haggerty, Trammell, and Toro, so bottom third of the order for the M's. We got a 2 of clubs is a strikeout. Strikeout number 1, 2, 3 for Ohtani. A 9 of diamonds turns into a 7, so that's going to be a pop out to short. 2 quick outs for the big right-hander. And Toro is a king of diamonds. King is going to turn into a walk. So a runner at first base, and we turn it back over to J.P. Crawford, who's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. That jack is going to turn into a 4-3 put out. And that's going to be out number 3. So Ohtani strands another one on base. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, still no score between the Mariners and the Angels. This was played on September 17th of 2022. All right. For the Mariners, it'll be Max Stassi, who was robbed of a home run in his last at bat. Would have been a 2-run jack, and instead it was the 3rd out of the inning, and it's Stefanik. And then back to the top of the order. Got a queen of clubs. Queen of clubs is going to be a base knock, so Stassi gets his revenge. And he is at first with nobody out. Let's go ahead and bunt with the second baseman. Not popular, I know, but let's go ahead and bunt here. A sacrifice, anything 6 and greater is going to be good. It is good, so it's a sacrifice hit. That is out number 1. So runner at second base now. I want to get that runner to second because, if you get Trouter up there, it's got an opportunity to drive him in. May not matter, as Rengifo gets a hold of one, and he drives one to deep center field, and that's going to clear the bases. 2-run homer for Luis Rengifo. And he comes home on the homer. And that makes it 2-0 Angels, just like that. Didn't even need Trout and Ohtani. A 7 turns into a 9, so that's going to be a fly ball to left. And that'll be out number 2. And Ohtani to the plate. A 9 becomes a jack, and so that's going to be a walk for Ohtani. So instead of a fly out to 9, he draws a walk. Runner on first with 2 down and 2 already in. An 8 becomes a 6, so that's going to be a foul out that the third baseman, Toro, chases down. And that's the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Angels put up a 2 spot on the Rengifo home run. So we head to the top of the 6th. Ohtani takes a 2-0 lead into the top of the 6th. He'll be facing off against the middle of the order. Ty France, Carlos Santana, and Jesse Owinka. Ty France, 0 for 2, struck out his last at bat. He's facing off against Ohtani, and that's an ace becomes a queen, so that's going to be a single for Ty France. He's now 1 for 3 in the game. Carlos Santana to the plate. Queen becomes a 10. 10 is a fly ball to deep right field, and that'll be out number 1. No movement from the runner. 4 becomes a 2, so this is going to be a strikeout for Winker. That's his first K of the day. And last hope here, Cal Raleigh. A queen of hearts becomes a 10 of hearts, and that's going to be a grounder, sharp grounder to Crawford at third, or shortstop. And he takes care of it at first base. That's going to be all she wrote for the Mariners as Ohtani comes in for a shutdown inning. 2-0 is our score. Seattle at Los Angeles, playing at the Big A in Anaheim. Ohtani, six innings complete. George Kirby goes out for the 6th inning, giving up only the single and the home run in the last inning. And we got another home run opportunity here. This is going to be Mike Ford as he rips one to deep left field. And not sure if Kirby is losing it or not. Duffy is going to get the K swinging. That's going to be 1 down, 1 already in. It's a 3-0 lead for the Angels. A jack becomes a 9, so that's going to be a grounder, 4-3. And coming up is Max Stassi. He singled in his last at bat. This time he's going to go down via the strikeout, and that's going to be 3 down in the inning. But the score now 3-0. Angels over the Mariners. Mariners looking to get something going against Shohei. A lot of people have said that. Just trying to get something going against Shohei Ohtani. So it's going to be Frazier, Haggerty, and Trammell in the 7th inning. 6 becomes a 4, so that's going to be a line out to the first baseman. So hit hard, but hit right at the first baseman Ford as he makes the play. Sam Haggerty, King becomes a jack, so that's going to be a walk. Haggerty takes the walk. That's 2 walks for Ohtani. Got a 7 here. This is Taylor Trammell. Trammell 0 for 2. He's got a couple of pop-ups. 7 is going to be a 5, so it's going to be a line out to the second baseman. No movement there as Haggerty scrambles back to the bag. And final chance here in the inning is Toro. A 5 of clubs is going to be a line out to right back to the pitcher. Cat-like reflexes for Ohtani as he puts his glove up and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. He laughs it off a little bit and scrambles back to the dugout. We are going to go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The score is 3-0. Going to leave Kirby in there. No real reason to take him out. He's a -2 pitcher. I don't know how many of those necessarily that the Mariners had. Maybe they had a few. We're going to Stefanik, and then back to the top of the order. Man of the hour is Rengifo with the 2-run bomb. This is going to take us to a rare play. So let's pull that rare play for the pitcher. A 10. Right fielder making another good play. This time it's going to be the right fielder Haggerty as he runs it down and runs up into the wall. That's going to be a fly out to 9, but a spectacular fly out as he makes the play in deep right field. 1 down, and a 4 is going to lead to a strikeout looking. So this time Kirby gets the best of him, and that's going to be 2 quick outs. Rengifo now 1 for 3. We got a +2. This is Trouter, and he's going to go off the chart. So let's see what kind of unusual play happens here. for the batter. First batter, unusual play, a queen, is going to be an infield single. So Trout beats it out at first, and that's going to be a runner at first base now with 2 down. Ohtani to the plate, another rare play, and this time we're pulling it off the pitcher's side. A jack is going to be off the glove of the pitcher to the shortstop and out at first. So we're going to say 1-6-3 on the put out, and that's going to be it for the Angels in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kind of a funny play to end the inning, but they strand one at first on the infield single from Trout. Trout now 1 for 4 in the game. Ohtani 1 for 3. And we have home runs by Mike Ford and Luis Rengifo, and that's really the difference in the game so far. It's 3-0. Angels as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Getting to cutting time. Back to the top of the order, though. One last pass here. J.P. Crawford, Ty France, and Carlos Santana. Let's see. Crawford is 2 for 3 in the game. Not going to do much here as he strikes out swinging. That's his first strikeout of the game. And it's going to be another rare play for the pitcher. 7. First baseman dives, and he makes the catch. So Mike Ford, Johnny on the spot at first base. He reaches out and he makes the catch for out number 2. Brings us to Carlos Santana. Santana with a foul out straight behind the plate, and plenty of room there for the catcher. Throws off his mask, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Mariners in the 8th as they are running out of outs against Shohei Ohtani. Going to throw Kirby out there for another inning. See if he can complete this one. Not in a big hurry to take these guys out of the game. Both pitching really well, and Kirby's made it through the real heart of the order. He's got Taylor Ward, Mike Ford, and Matt Duffy. So Ward with a +1, a 4 becomes a 5. That's going to be a fly out to right field. That's out number 1. A -2 leads to a strikeout for George Kirby, and that's 2 quick ones in the inning. Matt Duffy is coming up to the plate. He hits a single, solid stroke, off of the pitcher Kirby. Runner at first base, and 2 outs, and it's going to be a strikeout swing. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Kirby, and he strands another runner on base, and they put up another 0. 3-0 though is our score as the Angels are taking on the Mariners. Shohei Ohtani, 3 outs from a complete game shutout, and let's see if he can complete. He's got Jesse Winker, Cal Raleigh, and Adam Frazier. The ace of spades is looming. We'll see if they hit on it. An 8 of diamonds becomes a 6, so that's going to be a line out to the shortstop, and the shortstop is who? Rengifo. He makes the play there. Nice play. 9 becomes a 7, so that's going to be a little pop to center field. No problem out there in center field for Trout as he squeezes it for out number 2. We got one more out. This is Adam Frazier. Can he keep the inning going? A 4, it becomes a 2, and that's going to be strikeout looking. Number 3, 3 up, 3 down inning in the 9th for Shohei Ohtani as he completely shuts down the Mariner offense with a 3-0 shutout. So he gives up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 4-hit shutout. There were no errors for either side. How many hits for them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. For the Mariners, it's no runs on 4 hits and no errors. Excellent game pitched by both pitchers. Kirby goes 8 innings. Shohei Ohtani goes 9 innings. Gives up just 4 hits. Ohtani with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts and 3 walks. Kirby with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts and 1, 2, 3, 4 walks. So 8 Ks, 4 walks, and that's it. So pretty quick game by my calculations, about a half hour, and that was, you know, a lot of sort of explaining it and walking through each of the different parts of it. No changes or anything like that, so I guess you could consider it a quick play game, but it is full play. Like, every single play is accounted for. We have the rare plays. Again, if you wanted to employ some other strategy plays, we have sacrifices, squeezes, steals, and bunt hits, like bunting for a hit. And so and then we have the rare and unusual plays. Again, all that comes in just this little small package here, and you could just as easily take that and put it all together so that now you have your entire game in a box. And all it requires is a notebook, really, or a piece of paper, and then you got a score sheet. So you're good to go. And if you wanted to look up these numbers, you know, I've just been looking them up on another phone over here. So you go to fangraphs.com/leaders.aspx, or you can look in the menu and go to the leaders section, the leaderboards. And when you go to the leaderboards, you basically just find the team that you're looking for and the year, and then it'll have the WOBA right there on the dashboard, and you can look that up. And then when you click up for the pitchers, that's for the batters. For the pitchers, you just click the pitchers tab. It shows you all the pitchers for that team. And FIP should be right on the dashboard. You shouldn't have to go digging to find those values. So super easy and super easy to play. A lot of thought has been gone into like how to make this as easy as possible. Again, the footprint is tiny compared to most games, because you don't even need space to roll, right? This is called Quick Play Baseball. It will be a sort of reboot of the game that I released a year or so ago, and a little bit different feel with the deck of cards, but one deck of cards, and then you got your little booklet here and something to keep score with. That's all you need for this game. Hope you enjoyed it. This will be out soon. Again, as soon as I get the seasons ready and I can get everything up onto the website for sale, then I'll let everybody know that it's for purchase. If you are excited about this, share it. If you like this video, click on the like. If you have any questions or comments, you can put it down in the comments section below. This sort of is kind of lumped in with On Base Baseball. It'll be at onbasebaseball.com/quickplaybaseball. So it doesn't have its own official site. Maybe that'll change, maybe not. But you will be able to purchase it at the On Base Baseball website whenever it's ready. And don't know what the price will be. Have no idea. I haven't thought that far yet. But just trying to get all of the components together and to get everything ready to go. If you haven't liked or subscribed to this channel, just click subscribe. There's always going to be new content, new games I'm developing, new thoughts. I released a video yesterday in my how to design a tabletop sports game series. So just a few thoughts that I had while I've been working on this game. I just want to make sure I get out, and that's a playlist of just sort of taking you through my process, the thought process of creating a modern tabletop game, and what kinds of things do you need to think about, what sorts of things are involved. That's kind of the process, really, of creating a tabletop game. Yeah, if you subscribe and you click the little bell icon, you'll be notified of any new videos that come, so you won't have to keep checking back to see if I've posted anything or not. It'll come to you. So Beauty of modern technology. All right. I think that's it for me. I really appreciate your time and attention. I appreciate your support of this game. Many people have bought Quick Play Baseball, which is available right now. You can go to the onbasebaseball.com website, and you can purchase sort of the original version of Quick Play, which is just the Quick Play version, which you'll get, you know, the old situation cards and all the game components that you need to be able to play that. And super lightweight, very easy. $5 a season. You get an entire season for just $5, and all the players, the starters at least, the most players are rated. Pitchers are not rated, but it's sort of batter heavy. So this reboot is going to be a little bit more. You're going to have more data, more information, more ratings, more players, and it'll just kind of be more. So it's sort of growing into something a little bit more. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.